Bonjour, hola, hello guys, Shadaventus here. And today I was wondering, as it's 2 o'clock in the morning right now, I was wondering what topic could I talk about today? Because the last video was parenting, so I don't know what to do after that, because I am at a blank state. And then I realized I could go into more controversial statements, because that's what I wanted to do. So that's what we're going to do today. For this controversial statement, I looked on a website for such statements, and one of them was, does race affect intelligence? And like most questions, the answer is yes and no at the same time. So we're going to start off with the no, and then move on to the yes, obviously. Alright, so for the no, we're going... Obviously, it doesn't affect your intelligence, like solely your race alone. Like, oh, you're white, that means you're smarter than me just from being born. That is not it at all. But if we're going no, you are, what's it called? Obviously, you have the internet. You have your phone, your tablet, computer, you have everything. You have Google. Google is a massive browser where you can just search things up. And obviously you could learn things. You could go on Skillshare, learn a new, what's it called? Learn, obviously a skill. You could learn a new skill, which all the YouTubers are being sponsored by. You could go on study.com. You could learn a new thing there. Granted, you're going to have to pay some money to learn those things. But, what's it called? As long as you can pay the money, you can pay for the classes. It's kind of like real school, or like college almost, where you just pay, you get the classes, you learn something. It's a sort of a win-win. But if it's going for the no, then like you'd be naturally intelligent, like some people are. Like I said, you have the internet, and then it depends on the community that you're in. But if like segregation is not a massive thing as it was back then. Granted, it's still like under the radar, like they're going under the radar with segregation, but it's still here, but it's not as bad as it was back then. Okay. So then we're going to go for. I just had a brain dead moment. You on the no side, you have communities. And I'm just going to go with the not stereotypical, but like the commonly used black versus white. That's just what I'm going to use, even though race is more complex than that, with all different sorts of ethnicities and whatnot. But for simplicity of this video, and for me to not just mess up on every single word that I make, I'm just going to use black and white. Okay. So, you have a black community, and you... Obviously, like I said, segregation is not as bad as it was back then. But for segregation, it's like I said, it's under the radar, but it's still there. So blacks, they're still like, they're trying, like society is trying to make it like, what's it called? How should I say it? Less. You should make them less of themselves. You should make them less intelligent. And then just more ratchet, if that's what we're going to use. But yeah, it's like not. Blacks have, and blacks are human beings, and every human being has great potential. So as long as they have the passion, the drive, the resources to be able to learn such topics, it really won't affect their intelligence as much. Let's say, so most schools in the South, yes, it's South, but even up there in the North, there's some schools which it's not bully them, because there's still people of different races. They're all intertwined in the same school. Granted, one's going to be more predominantly black, or more predominantly white, or more predominantly XYZ. And so, as you're in the same facility, you're learning the same topics, you have the same opportunity, depending on what path you choose. So, if we're, let's see. So, by that logic, that does not affect your race at all. Or does not affect your intelligence. Race does not affect your intelligence solely. But, hopping over to the yes side, sweet transition, finally, without having to cut it, because I'm not cutting this either. This one's going to be unedited as well. Shadow's just looking at me. Go back to sleep, Shadow. Okay. So, for the yes side, yes, race does affect your intelligence. But, like I said, not solely based on not solely based on your race. It's what society and the government and whatever chooses to see said race as. As whites, they're more they're like all the way up top, and then every other race is just below them. In all honesty, that is not true at all. Obviously, like I said before, every race is a human being. Every human being deserves rights. Every human being deserves an opportunity to, like, be successful. And then every human being has great potential to reach that opportunity to be successful. Now, for the yes side, like I said, society places races in certain columns, like it's a competition. Granted, it's not really a competition if the other races just lose all the time. It's just a competition that nobody can win but whites. But aside from that, as we all progress, unfortunately, into 2020, as we all progress into 2020, we are seeing massive changes, like the Black Lives Matter movement. People are protesting Columbus Day to be Indigenous People Day. I think that's what's called. I'm not sure what it was called word for word, but something along those lines. We are all progressing into more equality based on something that we can't control, based on things that we can't control. And so, what's it called? Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, based on things that we can't control. And therefore, everybody is making this. I'm looking like Trump right now. Sorry. I'm sorry for those who are watching this. I'm not going to be editing this, so y'all just going to have to suffer with me as it's 2 a.m. So, what's it called? As we are progressing, we are seeing more people that are below whites. They're reaching high potentials, like Will Smith, Gabby Douglas, Serena Williams, and that's just off the top of my head, and that's just off the top of my head. I could probably think of a few more if I just have like 2 minutes of quick research. People that are below whites are becoming more successful because they have the opportunities, because segregation is not a thing. But as I said before, segregation is low-key under the radar, but it's still there. So therefore, blacks are still in the same community as one another, and they're kind of getting lower resources. And oh my god, I should have done research. I'm not gonna bring like paycheck into this because I need to do research on that. But they're still treated poorly. Granted, they're being discriminated against despite what other people say. It's like, just because they're actually out in the open, they have jobs, does not mean that they're still not getting treated poorly just on something that they can't control. So it's really stupid. But as I said, yes, it does affect it, as the communities, they get lower resources than whites, and whites are the most protected group. Unless they are part of the LGBTQ community, they are the most protected group of this whole thing. Specifically, white, male, cisgendered, heterosexual males. Guys, whatever, you get the point. They are the most protected group, and you can sprinkle a little bit Christian on that thing too, but they're the most protected group in the United States, and then everybody else is just below them. Granted, is what's it called? They're going to have the most opportunity because they founded the place. Granted, they stole it, but they founded the place. Quote. And it's like you're just taking. I should be asleep right now, but I'm not. Like you should be what's it called? The whites, they could take anything they want. They could get away with almost any crime they want, and if they do go to jail, they get sent to less less prison time than others. And that's just an example of whites freeway. That's what I'm going to call it. I'm pretty sure that's not what it's called, but I'm calling it whites freeway. And so they're just going to have predominantly more opportunities because they're white. And as someone who's below them in this competition, it's I can't. I'm sorry for all those who are watching this. I'm freezing a lot, and I don't know. I should probably write scripts more often, but that's going to take a lot more time. So it's not that they're unequal. Race does not affect your intelligence solely, as society bases on it. So therefore, your race does affect your intelligence only because other people say they do. That is all I'm going to have for today. Before I keep stuttering, because I stopped for like a good 5 minutes on this, and I'm pretty sure that this is just gonna turn to a whole mess if I keep on rambling. Alright, be Adventist, be unique, be outspoken, stand up when it requires you to, and peace out.